SocialSensor collects, processes and aggregates big streams of social data and multimedia to discover trends, events, influencers and interesting media content.
In an exploding ocean of content, social media content, SocialSensor is the tool that helps you find what you want.
SocialSensor has the potential to become a European reference in terms of social data mining.
I would say explore, organize and discover social media.
The project is to surface the best content in the news case for professional journalists to be able to use social media more effectively.
SocialSensor helps make sense of the information, be it text, image, multimedia, video in social media, but in real time.
We learn that this great opportunity of getting useful information out of social networks, it is indeed a great challenge. There are many difficulties. This information contains a lot of noise that must be filtered. The information is large scale, so special techniques that are able to process big data are needed. Also, this information must be transformed to an appropriate format for its application. It is not sufficient to just provide a list of topics for its application. So we learn a lot about the challenges and the difficulties, and we are working on solving them. But on the other hand, what we learn is that indeed it can be useful for real applications and real use case, because it is like extracting the reality from the social media and the social networks.
SocialSensor has been quite challenging. Great challenge has been the huge volume of the data involved. We have seen that we need constantly to invest new resources in terms of human resources, but also in terms of computational resources, as this content is really huge and not without any limit. Actually, every day we reach new limits. Not only the project, but worldwide we see that this content is constantly changing scales.
We are addressing some problems such as describing consumption of items online, or the way they search, they look for content online. And the main objective here is to find some regularities that allows us to provide them better services and surface better content and news content for them.
For the overall benefit, not only the infotainment use case, but in general there are many applications, is that this very useful real-time user-contributed information that is shared around several events and topics. For example, there is a lot of useful information shared about news events, when an earthquake happens or when a political event is happening. All this data, shared data, provide the potential for useful information, but it cannot be used in applications without having it analyzed and having it in a more structured and summarized, organized format.
Our main contribution is trying to shape how professional journalists would want to use this tool to improve their ability to use SocialSensor to detect news. So we've specified to our computing partners exactly what needs doing. We've talked to a lot of journalists about what their requirements are, and then we've evaluated how our first prototype meets the needs and expectations of journalists.
We develop new techniques and approaches for detecting topics and events in streams of social content, such as tweets, in studying the evolving community analysis from online conversations, and in efficiently crawling and searching by visual similarity and detecting conceptual content in large amounts of social multimedia. Our main focus is on making such approaches scalable in real time.
Yeah, so one thing that we did is we programmed a visualization for the social data in which we tried to combine the time information and the space information. So this is one thing that we call the time slider, which is kind of the main thing that we did.
So at DFKI, for this project, we invented new methods for a high-precision semantic search and composition of media, relevant media, content and services in mobile-to-mobile networks.
Yes, in the infotainment use case, first of all, this use case refers to large events like festivals, for example, film festivals and music concerts. Nowadays, during these events, visitors share a lot of information through social networks. For example, they post updates, they share photos, they provide ranking and voting. This provides a unique opportunity because now there is a lot of available information and also in real time around these events, and it is very important that this information actually reflects the visitor views and not the official view of the organizers or of another organization.
So I think the infotainment is a very interesting use case. The main purpose here is to learn what are the user preferences and recommend movies to users, but actually there is much more in it. If there is a big event like a film festival, all the stores around can actually participate and share and send coupons to users, so it actually opens a new ecosystem. We can learn what people like, we can recommend things to people, not only movies.
Well, the expected thing is that we try to give users a new way of experiencing the social life, just to share the events they are attending. For example, if you go to a music festival and you want to share it with your friends are staying at home apparently, and you say, okay guys, join me, I'm giving you a live feed of the event, and they just join you and have a synchronized view on what you are seeing. Yeah, that's the idea.
So mainly, I've been trying to understand how journalists use social media. So we've been doing a lot of research about the different ways in which journalists are using social media for disseminating what they do, and also having conversations with users in finding stories, and then translating that into a tool that they can use that will be really useful.
If we do a good job, and it looks very much like it, then the impact will be huge, because what we found out in our research and in our market analysis is that there's really a gap to be filled. And we've seen a trend that for professional journalism, social media becomes more and more a very important source for information and is actually replacing traditional sources like news agencies and a network of correspondents. So to find a way which helps journalists to actually deal with this big amount of information on social media is very important, and we think if SocialSensor is successful, it will be a huge thing.
Well, we are very excited about this because up to date there's very few tools and technologies that really meet user needs, meet journalistic needs. There are isolated tools that are useful, that are used in newsrooms, but so far we did not come across anything that has the sort of potential of what is being developed in SocialSensor, a tool that really aids journalists, that helps them sort of sorting through all the information that is out there. There's one tool that can be used for various purposes, so that's why we are very excited about it, and we are having very high expectations that something very useful comes out of it that can hopefully in the future be implemented in the news operations.